Well, good afternoon, you guys. This is Crystal from Homemaking on the Homestead, and this is Homemakers Journal 28, and I'm just going to be sharing little bits and things that's been going on in my life lately. We had just this long string of rainy days, and all of a sudden the sun came out, and of course the temperatures dropped pretty low. It was 32 degrees when I woke up this morning, so I think that's coldest so far that I've seen. And but I've been just loving all the sunshine again. You know, I'm a sunshine person for sure. The first thing I want to share with you today is a recent mini grocery haul. I haven't done a lot of grocery hauls. I was doing them about once a month when we would go in for a big shop because we tend to go in every couple of weeks, but one of those trips every month was usually a big shopping trip, and then the second one was just to pick up all the little things that we needed. And it seemed like after my hospital stay in July, I have had a hard time getting back into that routine of a big shopping trip, and so I just wasn't really filming them, and so I decided to pull out my camera and grab a few pictures of this little grocery haul. So I'm not showing you everything, but I thought you guys might be interested to see what my grocery prices are looking like, and everything is definitely getting more expensive. It was one of those rainy, gloomy days, and we decided it would be a perfect day to just head into town, get out of the house for a little bit, you know, and go shopping. We had a couple errands to run first, but we eventually made it over to Costco. That was our first stop, and oh my goodness, they were so busy. I just could not believe it. It was almost impossible to really try to do any filming while I was in there because it seemed like more time was being spent navigating my cart and trying to find what I needed. The one thing that really jumped out at me was the price of butter. Whew, that has gone up so much. I just cannot believe it. It was like, I think last year at some point before prices really started skyrocketing, I remember getting 4 pounds of it for about $8-9 or something like that, and so I was just like, wow. I went ahead and bought some because I needed it. Well, I always keep some in reserve, and I keep some in my freezer, but I thought, who knows what it's going to be next time I go into Costco, so I better grab some. By the time we got to the checkout, it was again just packed and long lines, and so again I didn't do much more than just give a scan over of what was in the cart, and then tried to just get out of there. It was quite the experience. And after that, we headed to Winco, and while busy, it wasn't anywhere near as busy as Costco was. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the upcoming holidays and things. Costco always tends to get more busy anyway, but Winco was pleasant. And I was able to get a few more prices to show you of what things are costing. You know, I just kind of honed in on some of the items that I typically buy and some that I didn't buy but just thought you might like to see the prices on them. But anyway, that was my most recent mini grocery haul for you, and who knows, maybe I'll get back into it. We'll see, but like I said, everything gets so busy, it's hard to focus on my list and what I need and film at the same time. So, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. Well, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and in the last few days my Thanksgiving plans have changed about 2 or 3 times, I think. And so at first I thought I was going to be doing most of the cooking along with my daughter, and we were going to host a get-together, and then one of my sons wasn't able to make it, and another one of my sons is going to be actually out of the country. And so we just thought, well, you know, I have another son that lives not too far from here, and so we thought, well, maybe we will just go up and spend it with him. And then the one son that I didn't think was going to be able to be here ended up, he will be here, but he's going to be up visiting my youngest son. So at this point, my daughter had said that she was going to go, that they could go over to her in-laws. And we were like, you know what, let's just go up to see our boys, and we're actually going to go out to eat this year. So I haven't done that. I don't know if we've done that ever. But it's been a long time. Maybe when I was a kid or something. I remember doing it one year. But I'm okay with that, other than the fact that I'm going to miss the leftovers. And so I've kind of decided my next grocery shop, which is going to be in a few days, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a few things to make a small Thanksgiving dinner. I'll either do it before or after the fact, just because I like having all those leftovers, and I like, you know, making the turkey broth and doing all those good things and picking up a turkey while it's the best price that it can be. But over the years, I have always done a lot and hosted the meal, and, you know, people would bring things, of course, but I found one big thing that was so important when you're the one hosting and doing a lot of the work is to prepare ahead of time. And so there are basically three main things that I always would try to prepare ahead of time. And the first was mashed potatoes. And when you're feeding a big crowd of people, you got to make a lot of mashed potatoes. And so I would usually get all of those, you know, cook up the potatoes and then use my KitchenAid and start making the mashed potatoes. I like to kind of break up the mashed potatoes first and then add my salt and my butter and then milk until everything is the right consistency. And then for this batch, I went ahead and just put them into trays. Now, I should say this is film from last year when I was doing it and taking it with me. And that worked out really, really perfect to put it in those trays. And when I was at my daughter's house, one of my daughters who lives down in California, we were spending Thanksgiving with her last year, and so we just popped that in the oven. That was really great. Other times I will throw it into a Ziploc bag or two and put those in the freezer, and on the day of Thanksgiving I pull them out and put them into the crock pot. Put a little milk in the bottom of my crock pot and then dump in those mashed potatoes, set it on low, and by the time dinner's ready, they're nice and hot, and it really works out perfect. And the next one is a recipe that I will definitely link below, because this has become like a family tradition, and it is spiced cranberry sauce. I make my own cranberry sauce, and once you make your own cranberry sauce, you just never can go back to the canned cranberry sauce. There is just no comparison in flavor and taste and everything else. It is just, homemade is absolutely the best. And it's super easy to do, and fresh cranberries are abundant at this time of the year. I even actually buy extra and will toss them into my freezers just to make sure I always have that as an option. And for most of my family, they couldn't imagine a homemade Thanksgiving dinner without these spiced cranberries. I stored this cranberry sauce that year. I made a double batch and put it into canning jars. I did not can it or seal it, but you could. Basically just like you would jam, I would be just fine. But I did not do that, and I just put them in there for storage, and that made it easy to pull out on Thanksgiving Day. The other thing that I like to make ahead of time is my stuffing. And so again, I don't really follow a recipe. I buy the seasoned breadcrumbs, I add chicken broth or vegetable broth and eggs, and I salt it really well, and of course add in those sauteed up onions and celery. And then again, I put that into these pans. Now I had actually 2 pans of this. They were smaller pans because I was taking one place and one the other place that year. And again, I put those in the freezer, and when it came time to make dinner, we just popped those in the oven. But I gotta tell you my number one time-saving trick on Thanksgiving Day. A friend of mine told me this, and then I did it a few times, and I absolutely loved it. I made the entire Thanksgiving dinner preps the day ahead of time. And so the day ahead, I cooked my turkey, I took the meat off the bone, I even made my broth that day from the bones. I had everything all done ahead of time. And when Thanksgiving Day came around, I was able to put that turkey meat, you could put it into like a big aluminum pan and cover it well. You could pour in some of the broth to keep the moisture in there, pop it in the oven and let that warm up. And you know, the best thing that I loved about that is that I actually got to spend concentrated, focused time with my family. And I wasn't spending all this time in the kitchen. I could have, the gravy was done, everything was done, and there was no, you know, everybody's hungry and you're still waiting for the turkey to finish or something like that. There was just no last minute hectic anything. And I tell you, that is my go-to nowadays, is that if I'm going to host a Thanksgiving dinner, I cook it ahead of time, the day before, and everything gets put into the oven and reheated, and we all get to enjoy our Thanksgiving together. So are you hosting Thanksgiving dinner this year? Are you going someplace else? Do you have signature dishes that you just, Thanksgiving is not Thanksgiving unless you have that? Anyway, let me know in the comments about your Thanksgiving and what kind of traditions you have in foods and, you know, what you're doing this year. I'd love to know. Okay, well, I just recently did a video on my bookshelf, and in the meantime, since then, I've received some more books that I had purchased from Thrift Books. Great place. If you don't know about Thrift Books, go check it out. I came across a cookbook, though, that was very much something that I used a lot years and years ago, and I honestly don't remember what happened to my original copy of it. I might have given it to somebody, I might have given it to one of my kids when they moved out or something like that. I don't know, but this cookbook, it is called More with Less. And it is a Mennonite cookbook, and I remember when I found it, I originally found it in the library. This cookbook for me was life-changing in learning how to cook from scratch. I cannot believe the amount of recipes that are in this book that take basic ingredients and create so many things with it. It's just phenomenal. So if you're trying to learn how to cook from scratch more and you need to save money, this is the cookbook for you. More with less. Maybe not everybody enjoys lentils, but I want to use this as an example of the creative recipes that are in this book with just one simple ingredient, lentils. Obviously you add more to that, but just one basic ingredient, okay? So first they tell you basic cooked lentils. Then they have baked lentils with cheese, honey baked lentils, skillet beef with lentils, lentil barley stew, Egyptian rice and lentils. That is more than I would have ever thought to do with lentils. Lentil soup, you know, that's about the extent that I would have thought of years ago. That just shows you one food item and how they make creative meals with that. Another example is their chicken recipes. They first start out by giving you a coating mix for oven fried chicken, and then baked herb chicken, honey baked chicken, 2 meals for 4 people from a 3-pound chicken, baked chicken with tomato rice stuffing, chicken pie, chicken pot pie, chicken pineapple skillet, chicken strata, chicken pilau, chicken loaf, chicken wings Hawaiian, Indian chicken, cream chicken, and on it goes. There's a ton of variety in here. There are no pictures, all text. It's all recipes. You want information, you want ideas, you want to try new things. They have it all. Yeast breads, quick breads, everything that you can think of, all kinds of meats. All kinds of soups and stews and all that. So, like I said, this is a great cookbook. Check it out of your library first, and then you'll know for sure if it's something that you want to invest in. But it is a staple. I am so happy to have it back on my bookshelf again, and be able to go through these recipes and try out a few more over time and save some money, because it is definitely a frugal cooking cookbook. And like I said, if you don't cook from scratch a lot and you need to learn some new scratch skills, this is the book. I tell you, it's a great book. Okay, so I think that probably covers just about what I've got to share with you this time. I hope that you are doing good, and I hope that you have an amazing, blessed day. All right, you guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.